I had a very interesting encounter not long ago that I will never, ever forget. I was at a conference, and several speakers were speaking, and after the Friday night session was over, we had a time for prayer, and we had lots and lots of prayer warriors and a team that had come forward, and the women could come down for prayer if they needed it. And so the team was already in place, and I was in a part of the platform team, so I just didn't really know what to do with myself. So all these women were in line, and they were waiting for people to pray with them. So I just decided, being the touchy-feely person that I am, that I would just walk down through the people, and I would just give somebody a hug that needed one. And so I saw a number of people that could use a hug, and I said, really, I'm not supposed to be the one praying. They'll pray for you, but I'll just hug you. And so we just had some wonderful encounters in that line. But I came up to one pair of girls. It was a mom and her daughter, only the mom and the daughter looked absolutely nothing alike. It was a very fair-colored mom. She was a blonde and beautiful little freckles across her cheek and very light eyes and just darling. I'd put her at about mid-30s, and she was standing by a little girl that I came to find out through our conversation was 9 years old. And the mother introduced me to her daughter, who was very dark-headed, a very beautiful, deep olive skin and dark eyes. And the mom just very readily said to me, I'm just dying for you to meet my daughter, Eliana. She said, we adopted Eliana from Romania several years ago. And the child could speak such good English. I was just astounded at her just proficiency with the language. And she was just the cutest thing. And I leaned over to talk to her, and her eyes were just so bright and just sparkling. And so I was talking to her mother and sort of talking about her right in front of her. And I leaned over to say something to her. And when I did, she stepped forward, and she just threw her little chest back up like this and her head back like this. And she looked straight in my eyes, and she said, I've been abused too. And this was like, whoa, whoa. I was so stricken, I hardly knew how to answer it. I had come in that conversation to learn that she and her mom had gone through the Esther Bible study together, and her mom had tried to share it with her in words that she could understand, and had just taken her to a whole new place of seeking God and understanding what He would do for a person. And I realized that in this progression of faith that this young child had had, her mother had told her that I had the same background as her. And she had hoped that that would be some kind of encouragement to the child. And it clearly was, because the child did not tell me that she'd been abused apologetically. I mean, she just stepped forward and she blurted it out. I mean, there was no, I'm here with my mommy, we did nothing. It was the first thing she said to me, I've been abused too. And so I looked down at that precious child, and any of us would feel for a child who had been abused. But we who have also been abused don't just feel for them. We feel with them. It is like, it's like we can feel it happening all over again. Am I telling anybody the truth? I mean, it's just something you never do forget the sense of. And so everything in me would have wanted to throw my arms around this precious little child and just hold her head on my shoulder and just pat her back and just bawl and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So many people have asked me along the way, what should someone say when someone says that they have an abuse background or they've been abused? And I've always said, you know, it's just really simple. You don't have to come up with all the answers. You can just go, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And that would be my usual thing. If an adult woman, if her mother had just said that to me, I would have thrown my arms around her. I probably would have teared up, and I most definitely would have said, I am so sorry. But something in me right this second told me that that was not the thing to do. I was not to get hold of that child, tell her how sorry I was for her, and bawl on her shoulder like something terrible had happened to her, even though it had. The prompting of the Holy Spirit told me to also throw back my shoulders and also put my chin up and look down at Eliana and go, Finn, you and I both know what God can do with a girl who's been through a lot. And she grinned at me ear to ear and she said, I sure do. I said, because we know that no matter what anybody has done to us, God can raise us up and He can make us mighty. We know that we can be around people and they'll never know one hand was laid on us because the hand of God is on us. Because we know that anybody can be a miracle, don't we, Eliana? She looked up at me with eyes as big as saucers and she said, we know.